Am I the butthole for refusing to fire my new administrative assistant because my wife feels insecure? Around 2 months ago, I, 52 male, finally bit the bullet and spent some of my lab budget to bring on board an administrative assistant. It's been wonderful. As I got older, I received more administrative responsibilities, and I never realized how much of my day was spent scheduling, answering emails, and coordinating events. My new hire has done a fantastic job getting those tasks off my plate. She is a 22-year-old recent college graduate, which I am only mentioning because it becomes relevant. About 2 weeks ago, we had a bi-monthly lab lunch. We took a picture, captioned it welcoming her name, our new administrative staff member to the team, and posted it to our lab Instagram. Apparently, this led to all my wife's friends, including my SIL, seeing the picture. They proceeded to give my wife unsolicited advice about how this was a sign I'm considering cheating on her, which I have never done and will never do. They argued that she should ask me to fire my new hire to test my integrity. I refused because that's effing ridiculous and likely illegal. Now, my wife's friends are convinced I'm some predatory scumbag, and my wife is angry that I quote don't respect her enough to stop people from thinking I'm throwing her away. This might be where I'm a butthole. I responded that I think the real problem is that she's friends with a bunch of crazy divorcees, which I initially regretted saying because my SIL's marriage had fallen apart last year. However, as my sympathy has waned, I'm starting to double down on as an accurate characterization of those morons. I'm making this post because I think this whole situation is absolutely absurd, and, for the first time in our marriage, I can't see how her side is reasonable in any way. I literally get to spend more time with my wife, now that I don't spend an hour answering emails before bed every night. I don't see how this is Amy problem or even an us problem at this point. I don't think I have done anything even slightly inappropriate, and this is entirely her problem. Maybe I'm completely off base, but I need a third-part perspective. Not the butthole, don't respect her enough to stop people from thinking I'm throwing her away. She doesn't respect you enough to stop people from thinking you're throwing her away. This. Also, her friends are literally eroding her trust in you, which is troubling. You are NTA, and your wife is also NTA, but perhaps you need to address this insecurity and where it's coming from, highlighting that you've actually made this change so that you can spend more time with her. Agreed. But also, please tread lightly, up. Even though her friends aren't being logical, this lack of logic is causing her to have feelings, and feelings often aren't logical. As Neon Anonymous has said, it is important to address the insecurity, but do it gently, if possible. I completely disagree with you here. Validating this kind of hateful fear-mongering and attack from his wife is only going to make it worse. She's dead wrong and owes him a sincere apology. Acknowledging her feelings isn't validating them. You can address how someone feels while dismantling it using logic. No one said to validate them. And how will being just as stubborn and logical about this resolve the real issue? To solve an emotional matter, both emotional and logical intelligence would be necessary. Only going with the latter will not end well. Well said. Exactly, this is the kind of scenario where you give an inch and she takes a mile. This type of projection from the divorcees needs to be shut down fast. Don't even remotely coddle your wife's skewed view here and make her think her test is normal. A young woman counts on her job for her livelihood and you're willing to take that away because your wife is jealous of her youth and beauty? What if the assistant was your daughter? Would that be okay with you? It's illegal, these aren't fireable grounds. Likely the divorces just want someone else to go out with and are projecting onto your wife. It's insane behavior that your wife needs to stand up to. No one is saying agree and validate her. The friend's feelings, what they are saying is cold logic and facts aren't going to sway her because she is being guided by emotions, and to be careful about that. I think the best course of action is to point out how much original poster loves his wife, that she is young enough to be his daughter and therefore he just doesn't think of her that way. Thinking of her that way grosses him out. Also because he is giving her all the admin work, he spends more time in the lab and can go home earlier and spend more time with her. Notice how it addresses the insecurity on a few fronts: attraction, time spent with her, and that original poster wants to spend his time with wife. Pointing out that's illegal, I'm not doing that, isn't going to read well to suspicious and emotional wife. It's either going to lead to her checking up on him all the time, straining the relationship or her trying to sabotage her so he is fire her, threatening her outside of work to stay away from her man. Yes. Thank you. I am angry on behalf of the young woman here. Op's wife is TA for asking to destroy a young person's life as a test of faith. Totally this. What? This young woman isn't a person? She is just a threat? What about her life, career, livelihood? It's okay to harm this person just to make your wife secure? Spoiler, it won't. The problem isn't the assistant. The problem is the wife's friends and her insecurities. What if the assistant was your daughter? This is the emotional question to ask your wife. Would she be okay if this were happening to you or your daughter? Would she be okay if this had happened to her when she was new at any job? Let's have some empathy all round here, served up nice and warm. Agree fully. Wife has been led astray by her friends. I think a combination of approaches is needed. Address the insecurity and letting her know how hurtful it is that it got to this point. Original poster is NTA, everyone else sucks here, including his wife. Astray? She isn't a child. She's an adult who made a choice to test her husband. No matter whose idea it was, that's some toxic crap. Obviously, you have never been married. If you had, you would know marriage is about overcoming situations like this and not just saying I'm right, you're wrong, get over it. Also, if my partner tried to get me to break the law and fire a younger new hire because he was jealous, I would laugh in his face. Op's wife's behavior eyed beyond the pale terrible. It's relationship ending worthy that she thinks it's even remotely okay to demand her husband fires a poor girl from her first job because she's malicious and insecure. Original poster even says his wife did it as a test. That's wrong. It's not right. She needs to get over it. Not the butthole. If you are in the US, firing a secretary based on her looks is going to get you sued. It's called sexual discrimination. Tell your wife that you refuse to base your hiring decisions on her insecurities. If she doesn't trust you, then your relationship is already on the rocks, especially since you are already spending more time with your wife since hiring this person. Fun fact, back in 2010 during the Nelson v. Knight case, the Iowa Supreme Court decided it was fine to fire a woman because her boss found her too attractive to focus on his marriage after 10 years of working with her, during which he also sexually harassed her. She appealed the decision of her firing, it went up through the courts, and it was found to be fine. NTA, get your wife a therapist. Edited from before with a typo fixed. That's just disgusting. America. F yeah. Coming again to save the mother effing day, yeah. Well, yeah, because that's not how the case went. But telling half-truths on Reddit is a tradition. Care to elaborate? The news story posted below seems to agree with the simplified version above. How did the case go any different? I briefly remember this case, so I might be wrong, but from what I understand, Nelson never sued for sexual assault or harassment. She sued him on the grounds of gender discrimination. However, the courts ruled against her because of the personal relationship they might have, regardless if she was a woman or a man, and because he hired another female, he wasn't discriminating based on gender. I believe they acknowledged it was unfair, but unfair doesn't mean illegal. Personally, I thought it was one of those cases that just got caught up in legalities. Edit, grammar. It was because they were texting privately. I don't agree with case. I don't agree she should have been fired or anything like that, but the reason she was fired was because she was seen as a threat to their marriage because of their out-of-workplace behavior/relationship and not that she was attractive. This can be read in the actual court case. Which is ludicrous. My job is based on your ability to maintain the sanctity of your marriage? This is America. You have like 5 options for being protected at work, and that's being a member of a protected class. Other than that, it's fair game. Right to work, yada yada. They can fire you for wearing polka dots as easily as to maintain their own marriage. As long as it's not discrimination against a protected class, it's fair game. How is that not what happened? It was found to not be gender discrimination, and therefore not illegal, because he fired her for being too attractive and a threat to his marriage. Which is exactly what the person above said. It's a pity that a bunch of women are pressuring an employer to fire another woman based solely on her looks. As a working woman with first-hand experience of implicit discrimination on so many levels, reading this post has really angered me. Well, no, it's a bunch of bitter women trying to destroy a happy marriage because misery loves company. It's actually worse. And the wife seems to have only half a brain. Are there any repercussions for not hiring someone in the first place because of looks? I once interviewed for a position as a receptionist at a small law office run by a husband and wife. Forgot if she was a lawyer, but he definitely was. The wife was conducting the interviews, claiming it was because he was away on business, but based on how the interview and aftermath went, I think it might be because she is controlling, jealous. I was completely qualified for the job, having a lot of experience in office administration and paralegal work. When I found out from word of mouth that I would not be receiving the job offer, I called and spoke with the woman, thanking her for taking the time to interview me and asking if there was anything in particular I could maybe focus on in my, still active, job search. She said, "Look, you're a very pretty girl. I thought of myself as a woman at age 26, but it just didn't seem like a good fit. A piece of advice would be to invest in a nice pantsuit." I had worn a knee-length business casual skirt and a slightly sheer blouse, with appropriate coverage underneath, to the interview. Nothing at all inappropriate. I also thought back to the other women, wonder if she calls them girls? That worked in the office that I had seen briefly while waiting for my interview to start. They were all in their 50s and wearing very conservative pantsuits. Also, what was up with the pretty comment? What does that have to do with anything? Definitely wonder if there was anything I could have done about that whole incident, legally, because it kind of feels like discrimination. It left me feeling super self-conscious about my appearance, my wardrobe, and my skills. Sorry for the long post just to ask a simple question, but thanks for reading if you do. Definitely wonder if there was anything I could have done about that whole incident, legally, because it kind of feels like discrimination. It sucks because it's almost impossible to prove. If you sued for discrimination, the woman could have said it was about anything else other than your looks or the fact that she didn't want her husband looking at your legs. There would be no evidence to show that her lie wasn't the truth. Sorry that happened to you. That's awful and so wrong. I wonder if the husband ever knew that his wife was making hiring decisions based on her insecurities rather than the candidate's merit. I could have sworn that there was a case like this some years ago regarding a dental hygienist being fired for being too attractive. It's been a while and I forgot how it turned out in the end. Not the butthole, but I think you should consider having an honest discussion with your wife about your marriage. She's clearly struggling with something and this is how it's coming out, albeit at the encouragement of her weird friends. I don't think you've done anything wrong and your wife is definitely in the wrong, but you should try to find out what's going on. I've had a lot of trust issues in the past because of how common cheating had become, but when you sit down with your partner and spill all your fears, it honestly helps more than words can express. Of course, trust issues don't disappear either one heart to heart, but no matter what he does, the one thing I can trust is that my partner wouldn't cheat on me. Original poster needs to find the root of the concern and finish it right there. Because of how common cheating had become. I know that how is a typo, but it kind of works. Are you saying you have trust issues because how prevalent cheating is but you haven't been cheated on? You don't need to be personally cheated on when you've seen whole relationships destroyed by people you wouldn't expect it from. To be fair, cheating's always been common, it's just a lot easier to catch someone doing it now, but I agree if you watch every relationship fall apart because of cheating that can build a lot of distrust for relationships. But I think you should consider having an honest discussion with your wife about your marriage. Yes, I would sit down and be very open with her, like really open your heart and ask her if you can help her with her insecurities, maybe even suggest a couple of sessions of marriage counseling to work through this together. Also tell her you hired help because you want to spend more time with her, and then do it. Take her out for lunch just because, bring her flowers, maybe she's feeling neglected after you've been working hard all these years. It may not be logical, but people do get those feelings, and if she's also 52, she may be going through some physical changes that are stressful and have her feeling less attractive. NTA, but be gentle with her. Edited to add, I'm sorry if being gentle and nice to someone you're married to is a strange concept to so many of you. I always lead with gentleness with my spouse, it's a great way to stay connected and married. I have a horrible feeling her sister and friends will tell her that the flowers and extra attention are just another sign that he's cheating on her with the assistant. I agree about the counseling as a way to sort through this. Original poster is really in a crap of a position here. Give in and fire somebody who doesn't deserve it, which may lead to legal issues, or do the right thing, but his wife will see as betraying and humiliating her. She is going to either have to trust him, or this is over. Since anything that he does now that doesn't involve firing his assistant is just further proof in their twisted minds. Agreed. Getting defensive and angry is going to come off as protesting too much to an insecure woman. Not that original poster has done anything wrong, it's just trying to come with logic when you're dealing with emotions isn't going to help. He needs to calmly ask why she's feeling that way. Maybe go to some joint counseling. Firing your assistant isn't going to fix her insecurities. She thinks it will, but it won't. The underlying issue needs to be tackled. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.